You are now tuned in to Papi Chulo Radio, your web portal for the best in pop culture news and interviews.
Hello?
Hello, Miss Miller?
David!
Could I talk to the boys?
Well, I don't see why not.
Is Alvin available?
Available for what?
To talk.
Well, how should I know?
Well, give the boys my love.
Why don't you give them your love?
Well, are they available?
Available for what?
Never mind.
David, get some rest, will you? Oh, that poor man is losing his marbles.
This is a Papi Chulo Radio special announcement. PapiChuloRadio.com is currently looking to expand its web presence, and we're looking for your help. If you're a fan of Papi Chulo Radio and its signature series, please visit GoFundMe.com/PapiChuloRadio and help us with our campaign. Every dollar amount donated will be improving the Papi Chulo Radio experience and making it more interactive and user-friendly. We thank you in advance for your support. This has been a Papi Chulo Radio special announcement. We now return you to our regularly scheduled programming. The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome to Summer Camp, a PapiChuloRadio.com and iTunes exclusive. Papi Chulo Radio, pop culture on demand. I'm your host and camp director, Maurice Gatewood. Tonight on Summer Camp, we're going to explore some of Hollywood's campiest flicks, cult classic motion pictures, and fan favorite films. Please welcome my co-host, the assistant director, and the hip-hop legend himself, Dead Lee.
Hey.
What's up?
What's happening is the correct answer.
You ready? Starting with me already? You ready to ease on down the road?
Ease on down.
All right, our director of residential life, the man from the future, Legionnaire.
Public office is the last refuge of the incompetent.
That is the truth. Don't get me started because that is more true than ever.
Oh, that line gave me life.
So, the artist known as Vanetta Berry and also our activity leader. What's happening, Vanetta?
A teeny.
Oh.
And serving up hot and spicy, as usual, our head chef, Derek Anthony. What you serving up tonight?
On our menu tonight will be hot dogs with your choice of mustard or sauerkraut.
All right. Vanetta thought that was fun. Like, really fun.
It was really fun.
She's the only one. Lines. You don't know the lines.
I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with you. Why you not laughing?
Yes.
I gotta behave.
That kind of tells me everything I need to know about tonight, don't it?
That's okay. I got you.
I gotta behave because we have a very special guest host tonight. Drum roll, please. We have the one, the only camp owner, Mr. Jeffrey Aruz, Papi Chulo himself. What's up?
Oh, what I wouldn't give to be in shock. Just once.
All right. So before we begin, here's one of our campers on our PA system with a few announcements on how you can interact with us via social media.
Thank you for the intro, and sorry for the microphone feedback. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR SummerCamp. Follow us on Tumblr, summercamp-pcr.tumblr.com. Follow Poppy Chula Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube at Poppy Chula Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@poppychularadio.com. Help support Poppy Chula Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PoppyChulaRadio. Help support Poppy Chula Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PoppyChulaRadio. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Poppy Chula Radio Summer Camp and subscribe. Now, grab some popcorn and some snacks. It's time for your feature presentation. Back to you, camp counselors. Oh, not again. Sorry for the feedback.
Thank you. All right, it's time to fire up the film projector so that we can discuss 1978's The Wiz. Here is the official synopsis of the film. A crowded Thanksgiving dinner brings a host of family together in a small Harlem apartment where a shy 24-year-old schoolteacher named Dorothy lives with her Aunt Em and Uncle Henry. Extremely introverted, Dorothy is teased by Aunt Em for never having been south of 125th Street, and she has delayed moving out to start her own independent life as an adult. While Dorothy cleans up after the meal, Dorothy's dog Toto runs out of the open kitchen door into a violent snowstorm. She succeeds in retrieving him but finds herself trapped in the storm. A magical whirlwind made of snow, the work of Glinda, the Good Witch of the South, materializes and transports them to the realm of Oz.
Woohoo!
Sounds familiar. I think I might have heard of that story before.
I thought that happened to a white girl.
You know,
She didn't do it with flair, though.
Oh, that is true.
Oh,
Yes, she was a Caucasian American.
some country white girl. That's what I remember.
All right, so let's go down the list and find out who has seen this before. Let's start with you, Poppy.
I have a couple of times, but I honestly hadn't seen it since I was like 10. So I saw it with fresh eyes. I saw The Wiz live, the live NBC production, which is nothing like this. It was more sort of like a retelling of like the Broadway version. So it was great to see this again, and yeah, I saw it with fresh eyes, and I enjoyed it.
All right, Deadly.
Fresh eyes. I like that. But
You never saw.
Oh no, I've seen this movie. This was probably about the 10th time.
Wow.
And anytime it comes on TV, I've got to watch Michael Jackson.
All right.
Oh.
I've got to watch Nipsey Russell.
All right.
I've got to watch Lena Horne. Hello.
All right.
She's like life.
I'm gonna call you Nipsey Hussle.
That's right.
Tipsy Hustler. Derek, Anthony.
I saw this movie at the theater when it came out. I saw this movie the first time they showed it on broadcast television. And when they released it on VHS, I got the VHS. When they released it on DVD, I got the DVD. And now I have one on my computer. So and anytime it happens to come on, one time I stayed until 2:00 in the morning watching it when I knew I had to get up at 4 to go to work.
Ouch.
Yeah, So yes, I've seen this movie backwards and forwards, and I can turn the sound down and still enjoy it.
Okay. Legionnaire.
I had only seen this movie in bits and pieces. So this was the first time I actually saw it all the way through from start to finish.
Okay. And Vanetta, I'm going to ask you how many times you've seen it.
As many times as I have.
Oh.
Yeah, I would probably click neck and neck on that. I have seen this. I saw it, let's see, when I was a kid, when it first came out. It was a family thing we had to do. And then every time it would come on television. And when I was an RA, I would have Wiz night and make my people at the dorm watch the Wiz on the TV.
Oh, cool.
It was awesome because it was all women and they had never seen it because they did not grow up in that community. So they were like, what is
they
this?
were Caucasian.
Is that Michael Jackson? Yes, those people. It was very fun though, and they enjoyed it. And I have encouraged other people to enjoy The Wiz. And now my kids love The Wiz. So yeah.
2 comments. A college having Wiz night does not sound like you'd be watching The Wiz. And number 2, I'd pay a good $5 to watch Derek and Vanetta watch The Wiz together.
Well, they're going to review and recap it together tonight.
No, I'm saying, but I think it would be entertaining just to watch them watch the movie. Like, not watch the movie with them, but like watch them watch the movie.
Yeah.
It is very entertaining.
Just because we know all the dances, what?
You gotta have space. You gotta have space to watch The Wiz. You can't just watch it on the phone.
So
it's like Rocky Horror. You gotta experience it.
So Legionnaire. Remember in January we were standing and that person thought we were twins.
Yes.
And we are twins because I had only seen bits and pieces of this movie. Believe it or not, I had never really seen it all the way through. So
some Caucasian American thought y'all was twins.
No, this is African American. So
blind people need love too.
So look, as long as somebody cute and good looking, I don't care. You know.
Right. Exactly.
they can say we're gonna be a Legionnaire twins. I'm like, I'm fine. I'll be okay. All right, so let's get into this cast. You know, a pretty obscure, not very well known, group of people, but they tried. Diana Ross.
Obscure.
Have you ever heard of Diana Ross? There's a little known singer named Michael Jackson. And,
oh, okay, he's playing.
Yeah, sarcasm. Hello.
He's on it tonight.
Dan Lee went ready to jump on me anyway.
Anyway.
Dudley took his anti-sarcasm pills before
I did.
summer camp, and he forgot he has to take them after summer camp.
Well, he forgot you're not supposed to drink when you take them.
Well, that too.
No, I mean, I will say this. A lot of people may not have known who Ted Ross was because he came from the theater version. And actually won a Tony for the role, I believe.
Yes.
But we know Maybelle King from at least 2 shows. She played the mama on.
Yeah,
that's my mama.
That's my mama. The show was that Ted Lang. Did Ted Lang play the son? Not Ted. Yeah, what was his name?
You said Mabel King was from What's Happening.
On that.
Mabel King is What's Happening.
Okay.
Teresa Merritt is That's My Mama.
That's My Mama. Okay.
And yes, Ted Lang was one of the was
So-
Clifton Davis's best friend, one of Clifton Davis's friends. Oh, that's my mom.
That's my mama.
And
And
just
Nipsey-
talking about my mama.
He was also in the
Okay.
best.
Oh,
And Nipsey Russell, I remember him mostly from like game shows, but I
yeah,
mean he was
Match
also-
Game.
Yeah, he was like
Yes.
Love me some Match Game.
He was a regular Match Game.
which they trying to bring back with Alec Baldwin.
It's
Oh,
good. Don't judge and don't hate.
I watched it.
It
It's
is good.
nasty though.
It is, and some
It's
people.
always nasty. They just can.
It's
they
too
can
nasty.
actually
It was
say the
always
word.
nasty.
It's the right
can
kind of
actually-
nasty.
Yeah, they can actually
It was
say the
always
word
in your
now
mouth.
instead of just inferring.
Yes, and certain
I like that
people
part.
on this podcast have actually been to live tapings of it.
Oh, cool. So
Not me. That
we
was
got-
Derek.
We got Lena Horne, and Richard Pryor.
Ooh,
I don't
Lena
know.
Horne.
Heard of any of these people, but
You better kiss her hand.
And them cute babies.
Those babies were so cute.
Little cherubs.
Can you imagine going around going like, I was the baby number 1 on The Wiz? You're like, what? No, the baby that was a star. That was me.
Where are all those babies now?
Grown baby's head.
So, as kind of a newbie to this movie, I was kind of wondering how it would start out, like how it would, if it would be sort of like just like the other version, or what? You know, I never read the books. Has anyone ever read the books?
Yes, I have.
Now, how close was the 1939 movie, 38, 39 movie? How close was that to the books?
The books gave you a much more fully realized world. So there was like a lot of political stuff that was going on, and I mean, you got a really fully realized background of what was going on in this world. So it was, it felt like the Dorothy stuff was kind of incidental to you really knowing what Oz was about. So yeah, I would say in that sense, I mean, if you read the book, it'd be like, okay, what was this bullshit I was watching? Because it's totally different.
Right. That's interesting. It's like kind of like reading the Narnia books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Even though they've done some pretty accurate animated sort of versions of the Narnia stuff, but the movies are not that accurate. So anyway, I'm going to ask right off the bat who identifies with which character the most. I'm going to ask you, Vanetta, which character you either identify with the most or like the most.
Oh gosh. So for me, it's a toss-up. It's according to what I'm going through. I feel the lion so much sometimes, and then I also feel the scarecrow. So I go back and forth between those two characters the most. But my favorite songs come from, I think, the Tin Man's character, because that what I could do if I could feel was the creepiest song to me because of the singing wall. Had the faces
the
on the
girls.
wall looked like my cousin, and every time I would see it, I'd be like, I'd call my cousin, look, it looks just like you, and then we would like do the little action, and we would like play it out. Yeah, so those are my favorites. Just the whole cast,
I mean,
except
what about
Diana Ross.
What about you, Jet Li?
I'm Dorothy all the way.
Dorothy?
Yes, you would be.
Really?
I just feel like I'm lost in this world, just easing down weird colored roads.
We got your back, Dottie.
Yeah, but I made it past 125th in Harlem. I went to 125th in Harlem. You know what's there at 125th in Harlem?
What?
It's a good thing Dorothy didn't go. It was a Turkish bathhouse.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
You eased on down that road?
I did. It was really weird. It was like
Did
my own,
oil to
it was
Did
my
they
own
put the
odd
oil,
experience.
run the oil down your back?
The first time I went to New York,
He didn't answer.
No, I ended up at this bar, and then this blind dude tells me, "You want to go to a bathhouse with me?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, let's do it." And he led me. I let a blind dude lead me to this bathhouse on 125th in Harlem. And
You know what's
but it was
going to be
a fun night.
when the blind man is taking lead.
I don't know if the bathhouse is still there. I heard it's gentrified by now. It's probably a coffee house.
Most of Harlem is gentrified.
It's probably a bathhouse and a coffee house.
Yeah.
Right.
If those walls could talk.
And of course, I like the witch too, though. There's something about maybe just the character. I love Mabel King from What's Happening. That's why I said that earlier. Hey, what's happening?
Right.
You know.
She gave it so much energy.
She
Oh, yeah.
really did.
I mean,
I love her.
oh, it was so much fun.
And what about you, Derek?
Evelyn
Evelyn, he didn't.
That makes sense too.
makes perfect sense. Evelyn, I have
Work,
magic powers. I have magic powers of shade, and I don't like bad news first thing in the morning.
How about you, Legionnaire?
I would probably say if I had to pick one, it would probably be the Tin Man, because he's deceptively full of heart, and people don't realize it. And sometimes even he doesn't realize it.
Right.
Oh,
Senores.
Crow number 2. No, I should probably, because of Papi Chulo, I should say the Poppy
He had so much
Girls.
shade.
I know, right? Because of Papi Chulo, I should say the Poppy Girls, but I'm gonna go with the Scarecrow, just because I love, like, whenever Michael Jackson sings, like, in the song, like, as a Scarecrow, it's just fantastic. Like, I love seeing Michael as a Scarecrow. Like, I always, like, as a kid, the Scarecrow was my favorite. And I loved, as a kid, Ease on Down the Road. Like, as a child, that was, like, my favorite song.
It was fun.
I don't necessarily say I identify with him the most, but I really like Ted Ross as the lion. And as someone who hadn't seen this movie before, and he's in a movie with some big names, and he more than held his own. And in some ways he was probably more familiar with I wonder how much of the Broadway version of his character he brought to the movie, but he was just spot on all the time for me. I love the way he played the character. As far as identifying with the character, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit Dorothy and a little bit Scarecrow. Not sure.
That makes sense too.
Yeah, because I don't really have a brain. So
there is one more character that I identify with occasionally, and that's Toto. Because I just ain't got time for this shit.
Toto.
He just ran off.
I'm not here for this.
I love how Toto just kind of vanished every now and then.
Oh, y'all leaving? Y'all ready to go? Okay, all right.
And she was always yelling, Toto!
Toto, but Toto would tell
Put
them.
your dog on the leash.
It wasn't like he was like running after something. He never like barked and ran after something that was off camera. He just kind of was like, "I'll be back. I see y'all in a bit. Hold on, I'm back."
Right.
I'm going out. I'm going down the house to get some grape soda. I'll be back.
Right. I'll catch y'all when it's time to go to the next scene.
Right. So, Venata, I'm gonna direct this one to you. the costume design.
I really enjoy the costume design. So because I've seen it so many times, I've really kind of deep dived into it. The fact that the lion is wearing an Oscar de la Renta suit that has been, it is a 3-piece suit with a vest, and that's what makes the mane look really big, and it like pops up the collar. And, you know, he uses his tail as part of, like, you know, he whips it around and stuff. It is so amazing. They really went in on that suit. And then the whole, like, the whole scene of you got to be seen in green, you got to be seen in red, that whole Emerald City scene, they filmed the whole thing with all the actors in white, and they just changed the light. I was like, y'all cheap as hell. But it still looked awesome.
But it looked amazing.
I loved it.
Well, first, I have to say the lion's hair was laid, okay? There was one scene where he was singing and he leaned back and his hair just, it fell back. I was just like...
I was like, all right, come on, curls.
Right.
Yes.
It was just, well, awesome. And, I like the scene with the it was one of the early group scenes when they had on like the purple. It was kind of like purplish colored costumes. Was that right after they came out of the graffiti?
Oh yeah, the Munchkin.
Yeah.
That was an awesome scene too, visually, because they did everything in black light, which is really hard to shoot in. And you got black people in black light, and they still managed to make it pop. That was really just technically, for the times, there are a lot of things that are done really well on a very low budget, and then there are other things that I'm like, really, y'all didn't do that. So it's a fun movie.
There was some things that they attempted. Like when I first saw the funnel, the tornado funnel, I was like, I think they could have just like not done that and just had stuff blowing by or whatever, you know, kind of, you know, done like a snow globe effect type looking thing. But
I wish they had done the music from the musical, because the tornado has a song in the
yes
movie. Right, and it is a wonderful, wonderful song, and it was not here.
Right.
There's a couple songs that are missing in the movie that were in the stage play, because actually the Wizard has a song, which I think they did in the live version. Yeah, they did it in the Wiz live version, because I got into an argument with somebody. They were like, they just making up songs for this. I was like, no, they're not.
Nope, this is an original. This is one of the original songs.
Yeah.
May I ask
and
a
I was
question?
really mad once I found out Richard Pryor could actually sing. I was like, well, why didn't he sing the song?
Yeah, Richard Pryor used to sing. His mother, did his mother own a brothel? And
yep.
He used to sing. Well, who knows what his voice was sounding like at that point.
No. There's video of him singing. In fact,
in that time,
he used to open because he was, you know, a struggling artist. So he sang and did comedy. And he used to open for Nina Simone as a singer. And it was only because his comedy career took off before the singing career did that we got Richard Pryor, the comedian, as opposed to Richard Pryor, the singer. But he could actually sing.
I wonder at this point in his career if he was, you know, what kind of shape
was this before or after he was burnt, though? I can't remember.
This is before. This is before.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay. So she's 24 in the movie, the character.
She's a school teacher, Poppy.
Yes. Which I could buy that. I could buy a 24-year-old school teacher. How old was Diana Ross in real life?
33.
Diana Ross
was 33.
Allegedly.
33, but you know, she looked about 42.
Well, it's because she didn't wear no makeup. I don't know why they didn't put makeup on her in this movie.
They were given kind of that. She was kind of a little bit stripped down. I thought she looked awfully thin.
She was very thin. Supposed to.
She was very thin.
But that she was supposed to be simple because she was this girl who had never ventured out, never did anything, and she was this wallflower. She didn't want people to pay attention to her.
She doesn't go to Turkish bathhouses.
Right. Did you notice her in the opening? First, can we talk about how much that apartment in Harlem would cost right now?
Yeah.
But did you notice when she, when they were hosting the dinner, she was real.
She was in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to be noticed. I don't want to be paid attention to. Auntie M brought this man in. Look, I shipped this man all the way from Lower Harlem for you.
Right.
He's cute. He got a nice afro. Okay, I'm going to take your coat.
He did have a nice afro. Well, then when the Isley brothers come... No, who were they? The Brothers Johnson.
Yeah. Can I just say now, because I notice something new every 5 years when I watch this movie. So for some reason, I don't know why this has always slipped my attention. I guess because I'm waiting for them to get to Oz. Like a couple of years ago, I realized that low key Auntie M put her out the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, you need to go ahead and do something.
She picked the fight with Dorothy, and then she blamed Dorothy for the fight. And then she put her out the house.
Auntie M's a bitch.
She kind of is. She kind of.
That's that tough love, y'all. That's that tough love. She was trying to tell her, you need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna do it nice.
I'm
gonna do it hard.
Give her some time. Leave it alone.
Mm.
She said, "I've been leaving it alone. You 24 years old."
After you have cooked Thanksgiving dinner for 13 hours for 40 people, because they got 40 people in that house.
That was at least.
Is that the time to have that conversation? Because I will be real honest. I didn't talk to anybody that cooked on Thanksgiving Day after we ate dinner. Because they were all in a bad mood.
Mm.
Well,
tired. With the itis.
She was not, and I was thinking though, Toto would have been all right, Toto would have been.
I sure hope he can make it back.
When he get called,
Toto got fur.
She didn't grab a jacket.
She grabbed the jacket. She didn't grab it. She was putting her jacket on to take the garbage out. Why she didn't take the garbage with her? She was still going downstairs.
Wait, did Toto make it back home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she is holding him.
When she was holding him. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about her character design.
Yeah.
Did it work for you? It didn't make sense to me. I know she's this simple girl.
It didn't make sense to you because she was Diana Ross, or it did make just in general it didn't make sense?
That could be a good. That's a good point. I was maybe I was looking for something since everybody else looked obviously more costumey.
You don't like a pleated skirt? Come on.
I did not want her to have like plaid on. I didn't want her to look. She had to look like somebody.
School teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that's what it was.
I don't dress like that.
But what it might be is you seeing, because I have this problem. There's a movie called Last Holiday with Queen Latifah and LL Cool J.
I remember that.
And,
oh Lord. Mm.
And they work in a department store. So they have this not cheap clothing on, but regular everyday clothing that is clearly tailored for them, but it still looks kind of everyday, but they look like Queen Latifah and LL Cool J, so it completely throws you off because it looks like them trying to be normal people.
Right. I remember that movie. They had her they had her dressed kind of like Land's End, Eddie Bauer type looking clothes. for because she worked in retail and
right. And I think that can, having seen that person, as they are, I think sometimes that can throw you off. So maybe that's what happened with Diana and the purple blouse and the pleated skirt.
I think it bothered me too, because she it was something about the way she carried herself too, and then the clothes were very slumpy looking. So I guess they had the effect that they were supposed to have. But I can't really say, but that 1978, that was a pretty stylish time, though.
Yeah, but again, she was a stylish girl.
So, and there were a lot of, when you look at this movie, and I'm sure you having seen it multiple times, there were a lot of beautiful people in this movie. They weren't the stars of the movie, but there was some scenes, some of the crowd scenes where they were, with these women would sort of, I'm sure they were mostly dancers, but, where they would sort of peel out of outfits and stuff. And they would
there's three things in this movie that let me know I was a homosexual.
Oh.
Well, let me rephrase it. There's two things in the movie that let me know I was a homosexual, and one that let me know I was a freaky homosexual.
Speak on this.
There is the Oz scene with the dancing and the colors. Because I can point out almost each and every character in that scene. I know what dance they're going to do. Because that's just fucking fabulous.
It was.
And then there is the scene at the end, the Brand New Day scene, when they come out of that shit and everybody is half naked.
Right.
And that really excited me. But the other thing was during the Don't Nobody Bring Me No Bad News scene when Evelyn pulls out the whip. For some reason, that excited me. Yet I had no idea why. But as an adult, I understand it.
It explains a lot.
But even those scenes, like when they first get to Oz and those women that were luring at the what was it called, the Poppy
Girls.
Oh,
yeah, the Poppy Girls. I was just like, Dorothy, you better get it together. Them girls are bringing it hard.
They're gonna make you run the streets.
There were a lot of like really beautiful, people in the bigger scenes and stuff. So let's talk about the production numbers, the choreography. I'm remiss that I didn't look that up. Who did the choreography for it? But what did you think of the choreography?
It was good.
Yeah, that was really
I
good.
Enjoyed it.
It's always when you do big production numbers, sometimes your eye will go to one person. Like I think even in the big scenes there were like lead dancers.
Yeah,
like, definitely
the choreographers.
The bald guy. Remember the bald? He was like one of the first people to peel away his
ugly suit.
Ugly suit, and I was like, all right. And that was another scene when I was like, they are fierce underneath all that shit,
right?
So,
Wait.
Fierce and skimpy.
Do you know that those were Alvin Ailey dancers?
Right, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, they were like so amazing.
They were absolutely amazing.
But wasn't he like there was a lead dancer in Alvin Ailey? He was bald and very well known dancer. I wonder if that was him, because I just remember him. He was so beautiful, as dancers can be, and in a lot of the scenes he would be the lead dancer. So I'm wondering if he was the choreographer.
The choreographer is usually in the front, and they usually stand out. everybody is familiar with the Thriller video.
Right.
The part where the zombies dance and there's the zombie in the blue dress that clearly stands out. She was the choreographer for that dance, which is why she's A, in the front next to Michael, and B, why she clearly stands out in that dance. And it's like everybody else is kind of taking their lead off of her.
Right, just like in Thriller, the choreographer was in that scene as well. And the guy in the
is he having a stroke, or am I having a stroke?
And the actor from New York Undercover was also in the Thriller video. I forget his name.
Malik Jumba?
You talking about Michael DiLorenzo?
Michael DiLorenzo. Yeah,
you're talking about a different video.
He was in Thriller.
No, he was in.
No, he was in Beat It.
No, he was in
Beat
It.
Beat It.
Thriller is the one with the spooky stuff.
With the zombies. Yeah.
Right, he was in Beat It. And I always wonder why he didn't like he never seemed to do anything that had anything to do with like singing and dancing after that. I never saw him anything. Just on New York Undercover.
He was in Fame also.
He was in Fame. I remember that dancing. So I guess his background was more dancing than sort of singing and stuff. But
well, you know, in the old days, you were supposed to be multi-talented. Right. It's only now that people are getting by on pretty. But in the old days, you had to be able to bring more than one thing to the table.
Well, look, in the old days, actors of color couldn't say, "Oh, I only do this or I only do that. I don't do TV. I only do movies." It was like you get where you get a gig where you can get it, you know. So that's why, you had people like Sammy Davis Jr. and these different actors. They sang, they danced, they, whatever to keep themselves in the public eye. And plus, they were multi-talented, So when you look at this cast, I guess Diana Ross may have been because she really was mainly a singer. I mean, her acting chops came out, I think, in other things, but I mean, she was primarily known as.
Well, this was actually the last movie she ever did.
And Mahogany was like 1970.
Oh.
When was Mahogany? 74, 70.
Somebody.
Mahogany.
Mahogany.
Yeah. But I mean, Michael Jackson, he always danced. I mean, I remember he was really little. I mean, dancing like James Brown and so he was always a dancer and a singer. I wish I knew more about Ted Ross. After watching this movie,
he was on an episode. Ted Ross played on a couple of episodes of A Different World, and he was Denise's advisor when she was ready to quit school. Yeah. So my kids were watching A Different World because they're like, "Mom, I've never heard of this. This is amazing." So we're watching it, and I had to pause it. I was like, "Oh my God, do you know who that is?" And my daughter's like, "He looks familiar, but I don't know." And I was like, "He's the lion," and she got so excited because then she was like, "Yeah." Aww. But yeah, that was the last thing I remember seeing him on. That was in the 90s, and then he died shortly after. So
yeah, because that was his because he originated that role on the Cosby Show, actually.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, because he was one of the he came to visit and was one during one of their card game nights with his father with Cliff's father.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then and then he also appeared when they visited Hillman.
Yes, they did.
But Nana, what do your kids think about the first season of A Different World as opposed to the rest of it?
So my daughter binge watched it, and she was like, "So I don't really understand why these characters never came back, and she's like kind of
Marissa
confused.
Tomei, come on.
She's like, there was a white girl, and she just disappeared.
I love
And
Marissa.
she's like, she got really into the Wayne and Whitley storyline, so she was okay with it.
But
She
like
got
Cree
sucked into
Summer
that.
basically took over Marissa's spot, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
and Cree is
Cooler version of
amazing.
Marissa.
But nobody took over Millie's spot, and nobody ever mentioned her again.
I thought that was horrible. I love Millie.
I mean, she and Ron were
Oh,
actually
weird.
dating, and then Ron became this play. The second season, Ron all of a sudden became this player.
Right. All of a sudden.
Remember Vanessa Williams' character? Not Vanessa L. Williams, but Vanessa Williams from Melrose Place.
So
and-
not the real one.
Dark skin.
Well,
You're
no,
right.
but
The dark
Vanessa,
skinned one.
Vanessa Williams is a fierce actress, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Soul Food,
Which one?
the TV series.
Not Vanessa. But yeah, but she was on there. She always played this. She played this mean little character on a few episodes. A lot of people came through that show. But
Yeah,
I was trying to look at this movie and maybe see if I saw somebody that wasn't famous then, and but there was so much makeup and costumes going on that I'm sure.
Robin Givens was in the first scene, and
Who?
Robin Givens. She was one of the people that came to the house party for Thanksgiving or whatever.
I gotta go back and watch it.
You may not ever see her. How old was she? Do you know?
She was young.
So she may have been one of
It
the
was her
kids.
very first. It was her very first on-screen showing, so she didn't even have a speaking part.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
I just remember her from like the really old PSA commercials for not smoking, and they would sing that song, that song "Moving In, Moving Out," Disco Lady. Except they said, "Don't be a dragon lady," like puffing on a cigarette. And it was Robin Givens. I think she might have been a teenager or something, but that's like the first thing I remember ever seeing her in. And then after that, it was like the Head of the Class show, and then she kind of blew up after that. But yeah, I was looking for people that I might recognize, but there was so much heavy makeup and costumes and stuff, and I think most of the extras were actually dancers.
Didn't you think
not-
Michael
yeah.
didn't need all that makeup? I really didn't like Michael's makeup though. Just bothered. He kind of looked like the guy from Mask.
Oh my gosh. I gotta say, I was like fiending for some like Reese's peanut butter cups. Because he's got the Reese's peanut butter cup wrapping as a nose.
The only thing
So
that I thought deadly is that maybe his facial makeup made him look a little feline, like he looked a little bit more Raggedy Andy than Scarecrow. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Mhm.
but I love the way Michael Jackson. He can move like nobody. I love the way he moved, even when he was just walking. And there was some little scene at the end where he did his little his kind of, he didn't grab his crotch, but he did his little spin and stuff like he used to do.
I read that it could have been the other person they were thinking it's getting was JJ Dynamite Walker.
Ugh.
I'm glad they
I'm
didn't
so
pick
glad
him.
that didn't happen.
Wow.
I know.
Can he sing?
I don't know if he could sing, but,
No.
but he's
You're like,
skinny.
does it matter? No.
Well, the "You Can't Win" song was not in the original.
No.
No.
I loved hearing Michael sing, like just sing. Because people forget, Michael sang when he was a little kid, and he sang like, he just sang like, his voice didn't sound like an adult's because it was so high.
Mhm.
But just even all those songs and stuff, he carried that Jackson 5 vocally. It was just amazing. Like I was talking to somebody recently. I was on a gig and I was talking to another violinist, and they were talking about what happened with Michael Jackson. I said, well, if Michael Jackson played the piano or the violin, someone would have taken him under their wing and nurtured him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But with us, like when we excel at things that we're expected to excel at, like singing and dance. Oh, it's all natural. It's not hard work. But I mean, those boys were worked to death, you know.
You guys didn't think of the Bad music video when that scene with the support columns attacking?
Oh.
I don't know. I thought he was gonna break out in Bad.
That was their Scooby-Doo video music montage moment, you know.
Those two orange things always scared me as a kid.
We had to fast forward it when my kids were young because they would literally just cry. And
those trash cans scared them too.
Yeah, the trash can, that whole trash can scene where it was attacking them, and the Scarecrow got his arm stuck, and he was like getting eaten by the trash can. Like my kids were just like terrified, and
see, none of that bothered me. What bothered me was those two orange clown-looking things.
The puppets
that grew. And
yeah, because they grew and just the way they moved and everything. I was like, no, I can't fuck with them.
Well, I guess
it reminds me of those wavy guys that like the blow up doll things. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they freaked me out.
That's interesting. I don't remember as a child being scared of any of it, but in rewatching it, the graffiti kids, like before I guess the lights turned on, like that shit was creepy. Like they looked like they were like The Grudge.
Apparently she was creeped out by it.
She should have been.
That was I really like that scene.
That scene, the chase scene, it reminded me, oddly enough, it reminded me of, like you said, especially when you said Scooby-Doo, when they would have the musical montage when they're being chased. But that took me to Josie and the Pussycats, because they did a lot of those, of course, in that show.
Yeah.
So and that song Roadrunner stays in my mind whenever I think of those kinds of scenes. Ugh. But it was very cool.
It was very interesting. I don't know. Like I look at some of the Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb, and I guess maybe this movie is more considered a classic by African Americans. You know, I mean, you can say certain things about the special effects or whatever have you. But did people think that it was like treading on hallowed ground to do this or something? I don't know. It to me, I thought it was very, and I don't usually give myself away early on, but I thought it was very well done. Of course, there were some things that were a little janky, but the original movie was a magnificent failure when it came out. The original Wizard of Oz was not a success when it came out. So,
neither was this.
This gained its footing long after it was released.
But when you look at the level of talent that was, brought together for this, I would have liked to see Richard Pryor. I don't know. I just felt like something, like he was limited because what was this movie, rated G?
Yep.
And which I thought was funny because you had people running around, dancing around with their asses out. But hey,
yeah.
But it was dance and artistic, so it was okay.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, if it's Alvin Ailey, that's artistic, right there, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But those dances.
No, I get you with that though. There's something about Richard Pryor that was lost with me in this movie, and I've never been like a big Richard Pryor fan. I didn't get him. Maybe it's before my time, but
it wasn't necessary to have him in this movie.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's what it felt like. It felt like he was a name, and we didn't get like get Richard Pryor.
Right. Because you couldn't have a rated G movie. You couldn't get Richard Pryor. You got a version of him that was like so watered down that you're sitting there thinking, what would Richard Pryor had really said about killing Evil Lynn? You know?
They should have gone there. They should have gone there.
You know,
Kill that bitch.
What if they only got him so they could have a giant Richard Pryor head? Because that was pretty cool too.
That was
That
very
was
cool.
cool.
That was.
No, I'm not saying I did. I'm not saying I disliked him. I wish that he could have been a little more. You know, there's got to be some funny outtakes in this movie. I hope that surface. You know, but yeah, it was funny. I loved Nipsey Russell in this. I really did. I loved it.
He was hilarious.
He was so good. And
He had all the good one-liners between him and Michael Jackson.
Ted
Had a
Ross.
lot of the good ones.
Slide some
Ted
oil
Ross
to
and
me,
his
Poppy.
name being
Oh,
Fleetwood Coupe DeVille. Man,
Fleetwood DeVille, that shit was funny.
he said because my mama had high ideals.
My mama had a high ideal.
And was he wearing stacks?
Yes, he was.
He was wearing heels.
Yes.
You know what's Papa, you're a little young. You know what stacks are, right?
no.
Stacks were like in the 70s. Remember the guys that wore the thick heels, but it wasn't just a back heel, the sole of the shoe, front of the shoe.
Remember the scene in
Platforms?
Yes.
Yeah, they're like
We
platforms.
didn't
Like the guy that
yeah.
had the fish tank in his shoes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But black and Latino folks didn't call them platform. They called them stacks.
Stack them up.
They were called stacks.
I have a
But,
question, guys. That Coney Island, since he was in the Coney Island, is that the same area where the Warriors ended up? Is it the same place?
That's a good question.
I've never seen
That roller coaster. I gotta check it. Let me Google.
Probably.
Hold on, kids.
Because that they did,
I'll get back to you.
they did shoot that. on it.
While Dead leads the mood, like we do, like when they do the cooking segments. While Dead leads looking that up, did anybody have a favorite set or a favorite sort of image?
My favorite image is the after all four of them are together and they're crossing the bridge and the yellow brick road is zigzagging all through the city and everything. And the reason why it's my favorite image is, along with having watched this movie 5 million times, my parents had to go out and buy the soundtrack for me. And it was a double album. And so the album cover used to flip open, and on the inside was that image. And I would sit and stare at that for hours while I listened to the album.
I brought that up because that's exactly what I was thinking of. That was my favorite image in the movie, was that winding yellow brick road.
Yeah.
Winding through
The Apple
city.
Sun
I
was
just-
weird, though.
Yeah, the Apple thing was kind of... You know, I was sitting there thinking, is it a Fuji apple or a Gala apple? But that road, the road twisting through I just thought that looked so cool. It
Yeah,
looked so cool.
That's my
was
favorite image, too.
beautiful.
I love that image. Although I did also like when Diana Ross fell when the lion popped out. Because it just... I was like, did she really throw herself down? Like, that was... I liked it.
Yes, you did.
I like watching Evelyn twirl her dress. That gave me life.
Yeah.
She was so good. You know, these women, they play
That I
played
watched over
sassy.
and over again.
They played sassy mamas, but you didn't get the full extent of their talent on these network television shows. You know.
No, and what's happening? She was barely in it. Like, she was always leaving to work.
Or
Right.
about
Yeah, she would just tell like Roger or the little girl, don't be doing this, don't be
D.
doing that. Yeah, D. Ooh, mama gonna be mad.
I'ma tell mama. She was something else. And then, right, she was either like, I'm going to work, y'all better do this, or I'm I'm going upstairs, my feet hurt. You know, it was never like.
Or she would squeeze the life out of Roger. That's about it sometimes.
Right.
And then by that third season, she wasn't showing up at all.
No, that's right. She left.
Oh, by that third season, she had moved away or something, and Shirley had moved into the house.
Uh-huh.
So,
Oh, by the way, it was Coney Island that was in the Warriors and where the Tin Man was over there.
okay.
Okay.
Warriors.
I think that I like the Tin Man scene visually, even though that those wood carvings did kind of freak me out because they just was wood and then they would sing. But like his stories about being a seat cushion for Teeny made me giggle so much, and it was always my favorite part of the movie, and I would always go a teeny. So then I met my best friend from college.
Right,
Her
that was
name-
Save a life.
Was there
her
a
name
double
is
entendre?
Atina,
Was there
and I
a,
always do that to her, and she gets so mad. It was funny.
I don't like
I just
step
love
on
all
ants.
of that.
entendre with him? Was there a double entendre with him talking about how he ended up in a position that he that he
Had assumed all too many times.
yes.
Right.
I was like, okay.
He was
yo.
emasculated by a teeny. A teeny. A teeny.
But wasn't he giving
Think of
you,
teeny. Think of teeny.
wasn't he giving you steampunk before steampunk?
Yes, before it was cool.
Yeah, he was giving you steampunk, as we call it. I don't know if there's a new genre of fantasy written by Black authors, and they call it steampunk, not steampunk. But he was definitely giving you that. You know, I loved his costume. Was my favorite, one of my favorite.
It had a beer can on one arm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the color palette I loved too. You know, I love that. You know, that the
Yeah,
orange.
let them be a little copperish
Mhm.
instead
Yeah.
of going silver. Like, we don't
Right.
need to do silver. We got brown skin. We could do this differently, and I like that idea.
Yeah.
Solid gold dancers. That's what they look like.
Yeah. So let's talk about awards.
Wait, can I ask a question before we move into that?
Uh-oh.
After not seeing it in a long time, I didn't like the ending. Because it just
After
sort of
they-
ends.
After they
Yeah.
kill Eveline, the ending kind of falls flat.
Yeah, because I was like, I was really curious about, like, as an adult, like, watching this, like, I was kind of curious about the family drama. Like, are they going to reconcile? Can she stay? And then, like, because I'm curious about time travel and that kind of thing, like, how long was she gone? Was it, like, was it just an instant? Is she back the same day? Like, I was curious. I still had
Those are all
questions.
actually valid questions.
Well, they
And a lot of
Police
left up
looking
to
for her? I
assumption.
mean, what's going on?
And I was
they
waiting for the whole,
skipped
and you were there, and you were there.
right. They
Yeah.
skipped that part of it. Yeah, it kind of just ended, but you know, yeah, it was.
Did
Kind of, I didn't have too much of a problem with it though.
No, it just like I said, the ending just kind of after Cheetah drops them off, everything from that point on just kind of okay. Well, we've reached the end of this adventure.
Right.
You know, you get Glenda with that fabulous "Believe in Yourself" song, in which you
Right.
hear that there's pretty much nothing you don't think you can't do by the
Yeah.
time Lena Horne finishes. Um,
When I am good enough to help your friends find what was in.
Oh.
All right.
Oh,
Shout out to Lena Horne, talking to us
Yeah.
from beyond the grave.
I know, right?
When
So
I
what-
was 5, when little story, when I was 5, my mom we had seen this movie already a couple of thousand times. So anyway, we're at the store and there's this big man with the glasses and a big full beard, and I was like, "Mom, it's Cheetah from The Wiz. And I said it really loud. And she was so embarrassed. And she was like, I guess he could kind of look like that, but that's not nice. And he got so mad and he like huffed off, and I just didn't even understand why he was so upset, because I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Because I thought, the flying monkey was nice in the end. But yeah, that was my little Wiz story from when I was a kid.
So I
love this movie so much.
So they had technology in Oz, but they were so impressed by a hot air balloon that they made him a wizard. But they had motorcycles.
Well, it's that whole thing
And
of
a
like if
camera
you've
that
never,
could walk.
it's the whole thing. If you've never seen it before, you're like, oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
He had a
y'all.
mic that could walk and a camera that could walk.
Yeah, you don't have that. We would think that was interesting if a mic walked up on us.
Or if a garbage can was trying to eat you.
I don't think I'd be impressed by a garbage can trying to eat me.
Well, in New York City, people have been found in dumpsters.
In Coney Island.
Right. Okay, y'all. Let's talk awards. We have one. Actually, this was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Cinematography and also an Academy Award for Best Art Direction and Set Direction. I could definitely see that. Another Oscar nominee, Best Costume Design. I can see that too, because they really had to create a world, even with using New York City as kind of a backdrop. They couldn't rely on like period costumes or anything like that. They had to create everything. So I could definitely see that. Also, another Oscar nomination for Best Music, Original Song Score, and Adaptation, or Best Adaptation Score, Quincy Jones.
Yeah, who appeared very briefly in the movie.
Yes, he did.
Quincy
Jones, you've been gone too long.
Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror. The Saturn Award nominee for Best Fantasy Film. Saturn Award nominee, Best Actress for Diana Ross. Saturn Award nominee, Best Supporting Actor, Michael Jackson. Mabel King for Best Supporting Actress. Best Special Effects, Albert Whitlock. It sure got nominated for a lot of things. It didn't really... Okay, it did win an Image Award for Outstanding Actor in a Motion Picture for Michael Jackson.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because they wanted him to come and perform.
Oh, well, that makes sense too.
But, no, he was good. All right, so let's give out a few of our own awards. The Poppy Chulo Journey Back to Oz Awards. All right. I didn't think I would have to use this one tonight. Any other, but there actually was some nudity in this movie.
I've been waiting for this one.
Oh my gosh!
The best use of nudity.
The lion, because he was nude the whole movie.
Oh, he's being cutesy.
Stop that.
He's being cutesy.
What was the shadiest moment?
What we just had.
Anything coming out of Eveline's mouth?
The shadiest moment was when Eveline got flushed down that toilet. That was wrong.
That was bad. When she went for those shoes and her fingers curled back, I was just like, "Ooh, that hurt. That looks like it hurt." She was a mess. Talking about her sister was a saint.
Now, you've seen The Wizard of Oz, right?
Yeah, I have seen that one.
Okay, so did you notice did you notice the change? The shoes were silver instead of ruby.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's actually how they are in the book.
Yeah, they were originally.
They're actually silver.
Oh, that is very interesting.
They did ruby in the movie. They did red in the movie because it showed off better.
Right.
Yeah, because it was color.
Yes.
Well, since this is a musical, we can use the musical awards. What was the best musical number?
Ooh.
Oh, it's for me. It's
hard to say.
For me, it's Brand New Day. Nothing. A close second is Lena Horne, Believe in Yourself.
Believe in Yourself. Come on.
Yeah. Because I like the whole production around Brand New Day, the dancing, and like I said, a very close second with Lena. I mean,
the Ease on Down has got to be the main song, though.
Yeah, but that was just.
I love Ease on Down the Road.
I liked it, but to me, that was just. I mean, it's what I would have expected from Michael. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it didn't. It wasn't as impactful for me as that whole production towards the end.
What about the Emerald City scene?
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the production numbers, like in the sweatshop and work.
All lunch hours are canceled.
Yeah.
Well, I did get a little tingle in my nethers when she started cracking that whip, but that's a different conversation.
Ooh, another tinglage.
I
Sounds
think that
painful.
Brand New Day was awesome for so many reasons.
Yeah.
And then, you could feel the Luther all through it, and I
You
just
really
love
could.
it.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's true. That is true.
Michael Jackson's first song.
You can't win.
You can't win.
He seemed like he was singing it very in the style of Stevie Wonder. That's what kind of fascinated me about it. Like, it was his voice, obviously, but the way he was singing, it just reminded me of Stevie Wonder. Like, to hear Michael singing like that, it didn't sound like his usual style, right? It was something like.
You're doing a soundtrack for a movie and not doing your own.
But I loved it. I was fascinated by it. But just being like a huge fan of Stevie Wonder's voice. And Michael was a good mimic of other people singing. A lot of people don't realize, like, when he was young and he would imitate James Brown and he would do the baby, 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 And when he was singing, because he couldn't really move, and he had to it was all in his voice. I was like, wow, he's kind of channeling a little bit of Stevie Wonder with his vocals. I really liked it. I'm not saying it was derivative. I really liked it. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if anybody else noticed or you guys have seen it a million times, probably just like it's Michael Jackson, But I loved his song. I really did. I really loved. I miss hearing Michael sing as he got older. Yeah. Some of his music was less singing, and I miss that, in some of his later music.
You rock my world.
Yeah. Yeah. But
it's hard for me to pick.
Yeah.
It's just yeah. I grew up with this, and it's just hard for me to.
Yes.
Again.
I think I like the production numbers the best, and I can't figure out which one. Yeah, the individual songs were great too, but I think I like the production numbers the best. But I can't really pick which one was my favorite.
Because here's the thing for me. A lot of the songs have an emotional response to them. Brand New Day is just fucking amazing. But Lena Horne singing If You Believe is amazing for a whole
everything
different reason.
Yeah.
Amazing. But even Don't Lose the Feeling that Auntie M sings at the beginning of the movie it touches me in a place because I remember those types of Thanksgiving dinners where everybody was shoved in this room, or in two rooms actually, because if you pay attention, the kids are in the room all separate.
The kids' room.
Yeah, and it was a kids' room because the kids were sitting at one table, and it was like three teenage boys sitting on the couch, like Toto. I ain't got time for this shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that has a whole emotional response to, and then there's a song called I always forget the name of the song because they don't actually play the whole song. It is Dorothy's song. Is this what feelings get? And they didn't play the whole song in the movie, but it was on the soundtrack. But they do play the intro of it.
Mm-hmm.
After she talks to the wizard, when they're focusing in on the hotel that they're staying at. And just the intro to that song is it's cosmic and hypnotic.
The motel, the what do they call it? The Emerald City Motel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Notel Motel. All right.
Yeah, baby.
Well.
Can I say I wish that I had a Lena Horne Christmas tree topper. She would have looked good on top of a Christmas tree.
Yes.
No, Poppy.
She would. She looked cute. And you press a button, she starts singing to you about believing in yourself.
We'll have to work on that. Let's rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10. I feel like we should do something different than marshmallows this week.
What would you like to do?
Emerald City jockstraps?
Let's do emeralds.
Why are you trying to ruin my movie? Let's do
yellow bricks. We could do.
I smelled some of those that took us.
Okay.
Oh,
we can do yellow bricks. Vanetta, we're gonna do yellow bricks.
Oh, yellow bricks. I love that.
And since it was your idea, let's start with you on a scale from 1 to 10.
Well, I love this movie, so it gets all of my bricks. All 10 of them.
Vanetta Berry's a brick house. Ow.
She's a brick.
Mighty. All right, Legionnaire.
Oh, I am usually very tough with stage and Broadway productions that are made into films. So I have to say, I did go into this with a heavy bias, but Michael gave me life, Mabel King gave me life, Lena Horne gave me life, Brand New Day gave me life. So I am going to easily give it 9.5.
All right. And let's go to Jeffrey Arus.
All right. I thoroughly enjoyed rewatching the movie after having not seen it in a very long time. The production values were great. The costumes were awesome. The music, phenomenal. So the only thing that I would dock it for is the ending, because I wanted more and I wanted answers. And I have a list of questions. So I will go and find Mr. Barry Gordy, and I will ask him these questions. So I give the movie 9 beautiful, shiny, golden yellow bricks.
All right. And Mr. Deadly.
Well, I'm kind of in the Poppy camp because I think I loved the whole movie, except for my only letdown is the Wiz, the actual wizard.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know. The man didn't do it for me. I feel bad, Rest in peace, Richard Pryor.
He didn't bring you to completion.
He didn't tingle your nethers.
He didn't. I don't know. It's just something about his character. Just wasn't. Maybe it wasn't his fault. Like you guys says, if it was the real Richard Pryor doing that, I needed a little more bite, a little more bite from him. But otherwise, I'm going to give it 9 golden shower bricks.
All right.
Oh.
And I'm going to give my opinion. I know we haven't gotten to everyone, but I'm going to give my opinion. Having never really watched this movie, And I'm hard on musicals too.
Oh, so that's not the only thing you're hard on.
Yes. I'm hard on musicals, and so I went in not with a bias, but with the oh god, how cheesy is this going to be? Kind of thing to it. But after Michael sang that first song, I was just like, because I was sitting in my office watching it, and I was just like, wow, I never saw this, all my life, and I never saw this, and after he sang that first song, I was like, in it, yeah. So, it was so much better than what I, because I look at Rotten Tomatoes and I look at IMDb and I look at these sort of mediocre reviews and stuff of the movie. But then you have to think of what does something mean to your community, what it means to you, what it really was, how innovative it was and stuff. And I enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it. It had a couple little parts where I was just like, okay. They had what they had to work with, but I would give it an 8.5.
Ooh, the Russian judge.
No, it was great. I'm easing on down towards a 9, but I would have liked a little the ending. I would have liked a little bit. I didn't miss that, and you were there, I actually didn't miss that. I didn't. But they should have got Red Fox to play the wizard. But yeah, I'm really, and I will definitely watch this again. So many of the movies that we do, I'm like, okay, we did it for the show, and but I don't see myself really watching. But I will watch this movie again, and preferably with someone. So. And last and certainly not least, Mr. Derek Anthony.
This movie has...
Did I skip someone else?
You just ruined his excitement.
No. He is going to have the yellow brick floor again. Go ahead.
This movie has some issues. We have discussed that. It is not a perfect movie. Taking that into account, I am going to reach into my bag and whip out some shit that I have never whipped out before. I am going to go through every show that I have done on Papi Chulo Radio, and I'm giving it the coveted Golden Sugarcane Award from Queen Sugar. And I am giving it the Golden Shield from Legion. And I'm giving it the Golden Fist from Iron Fist.
Oh my.
And I'm giving it the Golden Yellow Brick Road from here. It's got all the awards. 10s plus.
But once you've gotten a Golden Fist, well, hey.
He might want that back for later.
All right.
It's dishwasher safe, so it stays cold.
So this
once you shine it up, it ought to make you blind.
Okay. All right.
Vanetta feels me.
I do.
So there was no Vanetta Berry Crumble Broken Rock Cement Rock Award for this movie this week.
You practically gave it. You were the lowest.
8.5 is good.
Okay. Not in Derek's eyes.
For my first time seeing it.
Well, yes, I'm okay with that. He went in with different eyes.
And I want to see, and I said I'm going to watch it again. And plus musicals are just not my thing, but I really, really liked it. And I kind of went into it with a little bit of not an attitude, but a little bit of, fear that it was just not going to be like the hype that I grew up hearing about it.
Yeah, you were hard on it.
I was hard on. I was very hard on. So, anyway.
I'm jealous about the people who had never seen it before because I haven't had that. Oh, this is my first time watching The Wiz in so long.
Yeah.
When I see people who watch it for the first time, I'm giddy with anticipation, and then I'm like, I hope they like it. I hope they like it.
I really like it.
So
Like I said,
it's nice.
I want to experience the way you guys have experienced it of watching it with someone else. You know, it was very fun.
It was, and
you know.
I'm glad I went and sat down and had the entire movie experience because my husband had been trying to get me to watch it forever, and it just never quite happened. And again, because I had always seen pieces of it. I mean, I knew that the Alvin Ailey dances were a part of it, and I saw the Brand New Day scene, after the witch is killed, but I never saw what led up to that. And just like I said, bits and pieces here. I had seen the Lena Horne performance like 1,000 times, but actually being able to experience the whole movie was great. I mean, I definitely understand the love of this cult classic.
Right.
That was wonderful. I like that.
No, it's true. It's very true. As someone who had never seen it, I think once I watch it again, I'll get back to y'all. I'll give y'all an update. But
I'd be interested to know what you guys think of it compared to the NBC.
Wiz Live.
Yeah.
It's apples and oranges for me. It really is.
Yeah, because they're very different.
Yeah.
They are very different.
Yeah.
Wiz Live was cute. It was cute.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was. Yeah.
I got to see the stage version when I was pregnant, and my son thoroughly enjoyed it. He danced the whole time.
In your belly?
In my belly.
I like
on
it.
my bladder.
In my belly.
On my bladder. And that's a long play. So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. It was so
Queen
much
Latifah was kind of a weak whiz too, but anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
I love her.
All right,
UNITY.
We can talk about ladies first, Miss Dana Owens later. So right now, it's time for everyone to report back to their cabins. Your bunk beds are waiting for you. Join us next time for a brand new installment of Summer Camp. Once again, here's one of our campers on our PA system with a few announcements on how you can interact with us via social media.
Thank you for the intro. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Poppy Chula Radio Summer Camp and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Summer Camp. Follow us on Tumblr, summercamp-pcr.tumblr.com. Follow Poppy Chula Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube at Poppy Chula Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@poppychularadio.com. Help support Poppy Chula Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/poppychularadio. Help support Poppy Chula Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/poppychularadio. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Now, back to you, camp counselors.
Thank you. My fellow camp counselors, please wish our campers and the listeners a good night.
Oh, good night, campers.
Good night, wizards, witches, and poppy girls.
There's no place like home.
Oh, yeah. Click them heels, girl.
Click, click, click.
Thanks for tuning in. Good night and lights out.